It's not arrogance, it's rock-solid confidence.
It's a team spirit that hasn't been in this side for 4 years. They want to win everything.
After the double in '98, Arsenal didn't have the depth to stay ahead. Now,
Gilberto with the ball silver, quality.
Goodness!
This squad's better than last season, yeah, without a doubt. Just with that Gilberto, who's brilliant.
for the first time, the Brazilian World Cup winner was on from the start in the Arsenal engine room. Manchester United had misfired for most of their opening day against West Bromwich Albion. Not Arsenal. 3 minutes in, Ashley Cole struck. At 4.5 million, the bargain boy from Brazil needed no time to adjust to the pace. He was dictating it. Just as ominously, Kanu has returned from his summer revitalised. He was goalmaker for Lauren, and both fullbacks were on the score sheet. Total football. High time for the Frenchman to contribute. Thierry Henry and Sylvain Wiltord are on their own wavelength. Before the half hour, and Arsenal were playing Matador stuff. The Red Rag brought out the bull in West Brom's big hope. Jason Roberts was roughing up Martin Keown. Sol Campbell had to clean up quickly. After United and Leeds, Arsenal away was the final leg of West Brom's initiation test. At half-time, Gary Megson rebuilt a bit of confidence. Cole's mistake gifted Scott Dobie a goal. The Baggies would not be going quietly. Indeed, when Dobie was dragged back by the miss-kicking Keown, Arsenal looked vulnerable for the first time. If Dobie had gone down, Keown might not have escaped with merely yellow. Gilberto's English introduction turned tougher. He got up, initiating Arsenal's fourth. The dashing Cole and Wiltord are among numerous Arsenal players yet to hit their peak, according to Arsene Wenger. Megson will hope for more to come from Roberts, who scored his first Premier League goal. But this Arsenal can afford the odd iffy moment. Henry set up a first gunner's goal for the new French prodigy, Jeremy Aliadière. No Bergkamp, Pires or Lundberg, but right now Arsenal's best is better than the rest.
His first full game tonight, how did he come through?
Fantastic player, he's a great player. He makes things simple, he's always on the move, and he's a great player.
About he's won a World Cup, so he's brought a lot of experience to the team, even though he's young as well, so everyone's looking forward to the season now.
They're in the same division, but they're playing in a different league. I'm not a betting man, but like, you know, whoever beats them or finishes above them is going to be a very, very good side.
The quality of the game of our display can even be better than last season. I feel there's more potential there.
I've got a stronger squad, you know. I mean, you've signed a World Cup winner straight away. You get Pires to come back as well, Lundberg. They're looking awesome at the moment.
They've got a swagger as well, confident swagger. But a word on West Brom as well. What a tough hand they've had. Arsenal, Leeds, Manchester United first 3 games.
I was thinking about this in a way. Maybe that's a blessing in disguise because they don't want those as the last 3 games, do they?
It does, but their season starts Saturday, home to Fulham. You know, let's get some points on the board and hopefully can boing up the table.
I know we haven't heard from you yet on who's going to win the title.
The Gunners, I was there last night. Awesome, absolutely awesome.
Who's going with you?
I wanted something which was out of my reach for a long time, and you know, I want to do it again, you know.
Sol Campbell, 1 year on, a man vindicated. If it was trophies he was after when he crossed North London, he didn't have to wait too long. But now he's got a taste for it. The rest had better watch out.
I know I've only won like the league and the FA Cup, but you know, I've still got a lot of years, you know, in front of me. So I think that kind of spurs me on. I think it comes down to pride as well. You know, we all want to win, and you know, we all want to win well and play fantastic football, and sometimes it doesn't work like that. Sometimes you've got to dig the result out, and we've shown that we can do it. You know, we've come from behind on numerous occasions and showed great spirit.
No way past Sol Campbell.
That spirit will be needed as attentions turn to Europe this week, but Campbell is aiming high.
For me personally, I would love, a dream would be to, obviously, to win the double again. But for the European double, the European Cup and the league, that would be fantastic for me.
What did you personally, how did you find the Champions League last season, your first experience of it?
It was good for me. I learnt a lot. I learnt a hell of a lot, really. Just being out there makes the big difference, you know. Being in situations and just learning from other players, around you, and learning that you can't get away with certain things in a game.
This summer saw Campbell on the highest stage of all, and he returned reputation enhanced.
I enjoyed it. It was tough though. Weather was tough. I think you've got to be born. You've got to be born in that kind of climate to really, say, okay, I can play fantastic football. I think you really have to be born in that.
There was definitely a difference, I felt, in England's energy levels in the evening games.
Yeah, we played better when it rained or it was at night time. So. I enjoyed it. It was a great experience, and I've moved on from there. That kind of experience is taking me on to the next level now.
Domestically, Arsenal seem on an altogether different level, and this Sunday they meet a Chelsea side who haven't beaten them in 13 meetings, but Sol's taking nothing for granted.
I'm not going to take it lightly. All derbies are hard. So.
Do you enjoy the London derbies?
I wish other teams around the country had the amount of derbies we have, the London teams, because they are pretty hard, no one wants to lose, and or they're really tight. So yeah, I enjoy them, because it's London. I'm from London. Why not?
Now, there was a picture of you recently coming out of, in a Sunday magazine, don't look worried, coming out of a bookshop, coming out of a well-known bookshop.
I remember that, yeah.
You're going to give footballers a bad name.
Bookshop, reading?
Yeah. What were you reading?
It was actually, I was getting an architect kind of book.
Oh really, is that a hobby?
No, I like buildings.
In 5 or 6 years' time, I could be ringing you up to see if you can come around and measure my house up there.
You never know. You never know. You never know.
I think not, somehow. John, the hunger and desire at Arsenal is there, isn't it? The last time that they did the double, they came back and didn't look as hungry for it, but the start they've had this season, it's been fantastic.
Yes, it has, and if you look at the French players, particularly Henry and Wiltord, who failed in the World Cup, they've come back as if they've got something to prove. Of course, they did the double last year, and you could say, what have they got to prove this year? But I think that their failure in the World Cup has really made those French players hungry, and if Wiltord particularly looks on fire at the moment.
They look fresh, for sure. A big game this weekend for Chelsea as well, obviously. Arsenal, incredible record they've got. I think you were probably playing for Chelsea the last time they beat Arsenal.
Oh, that must have been a fair old while ago.
1995, you obviously weren't. Amazing record, though.
Yeah, no, they have. It's that's set up very nicely, that game. I mean, Arsenal have started particularly well, and I saw Chelsea against United, and they've looked like they've got things going along quite nicely. But London derbies are always difficult games, and the Chelsea guys will be very, very keen to go and get something there.
Okay.
To Lucas. Into Zola. A scything tackle coming in from Patrick Vieira, and Andy D'Urso goes straight to his back pocket and brings out a yellow card for Patrick Vieira. Zola then to take this free kick towards Gudjonsson. Oh, it's gone all the way in without touching anybody. It's not what Zola meant. Ronquial into Zola. Ronquial once more. The tackle was from Vieira, and he'll have to be careful. He's already been booked. And that's a second yellow card for Patrick Vieira. No doubt in Andy D'Urso's mind. He was a little late and nowhere near the ball. And it's an 8th sending off in Arsenal colours for Patrick Vieira. Touré. Cobb. That's towards Wiltord. Touré! The equaliser for Arsenal. The man from the Ivory Coast has done it.
I don't see a bad intention. I just think it's very unfortunate today for Patrick to be sent off, because he didn't deserve it, in my opinion, nor on the first and not in the second occasion.
I don't think I deserve to be sent off today. I'm really disappointed and really upset about it. And I just think that the ref get it wrong. And yeah, that's the things. That's a part of the game. But I just hope that he can come back on it.
So 2 red cards to consider, and we'll deal with Patrick Vieira's first of all. Obviously, a case of a combination of 2 yellows, both deserved.
No.
Which was and which wasn't? Neither. Either.
The Zola one for me was not a yellow card.
Right.
The second
first one, but the second one
definitely a yellow card. The first one, he's dived in, he's lunged in, but there's no contact at all. Zola's toppled over him, and that's after 30-odd minutes. That's his first challenge. But it did not warrant a yellow card.
This does, no doubt about it. Straight leg, 6-pack. How do you like it?
I agree with Ali. I think that is.
This is the angle. This is the angle. Watch his left leg.
Yeah, he's left it just a second late, so he makes sure he catches the player.
I'll tell you the crime.
I'll tell you the crime. I think as a central midfield player, you go in for balls out. You're trying to get a block and set up a counter-attack for your team.
But Robbie, the crime is making that tackle after you've been booked in the first place.
The first one's a joke booking. Absolutely.
But doesn't matter. You've been booked, Andy. So why make that tackle?
And I'm, you know, I'm just amazed that Andy D'Urso produces a card.
Well, you get that up in the match of the game. You're sometimes not thinking, oh, I'm on a booking. You go over, you think you're going to block the ball. If you think you can get there, you do that. And I think he's gone over for a genuine attempt to block the ball.
Hold on, because I tell you why. Because if he goes to block the ball, he genuinely wants to block the ball. He comes with his right foot to go that way rather than to the play. He goes to block it because the timing is he's just going to be a little bit late. I think he goes with his right foot.
He can be forgiven for dishing a yellow out for the second one.
I'm not putting him on it, but.
How do you feel about Patrick Vieira's comments this week that he's so tired and he needs a rest?
After the game, he said, "I am dead." And frankly, I expect the players to be dead after the game. It wasn't shocking to me. What is shocking is the player is not tired after the game. And that's after a game interview. And I find quite okay that he's really exhausted after the game. That means he gives everything, and that's usually Patrick.
Do you think that perhaps there are almost too many games in a season for a professional footballer now? What do you think about that generally?
You ask any professional football player, he will want to play rather than train.
It's a lot of games, especially for the big clubs that play in the Champions League and play the, how do you say, the very, very important games like in the end of the season where it's kind of win or die games and go far in the FA Cup. For those teams, that is a lot of games, and I can tell you, you feel it in the body in the end of the season.
I have a big squad, and when I arrest the players, the press is not happy, the players are not happy. So I think as well, as long as people enjoy the games they watch, we don't complain about the number of games we play.
Freddie, how's your injury?
It's getting there, but of course, it takes a bit of time. I've been out for 3 months almost. But I feel all right in training. But then the important thing now is to get games.
Just one final question, and on a priority list, which competition would you most like to win?
Well, I think you cannot choose because a good team wins the championship first. And that's why I believe that to do well in the European Cup is to do well in your league first, because the confidence is higher, the pressure is less, and the respect you get everywhere you go is higher. And we do not want to be one season team winners. We want to win every year. And that's why I think we want first to win the league again.
Premier League was a fantastic feeling to win last year. But of course, if you look in Europe, I think if we go far as well in the Champions League, we maybe will get one more level of respect maybe in the rest of Europe.
Freddie Ljungberg back very soon, available for the first team. But when you look at Arsenal, they have started so well. What do you notice about their play so far this season, Mark?
Well, it's as though the season never ended for them. It's, if you saw the last 3 months of last season, they're absolutely brilliant. And they just started in exactly the same vein. They're obviously missing players. Sylvain Wiltord. You remember last season, they all seemed to have a month where they were absolutely brilliant. Some of them, it was Bergkamp, it was Ljungberg, it was Pires, it was Henry. And at this particular month, or the last month we've had at the start of the season, it's been Sylvain Wiltord. And they've still got all those players to come back in, and they're just going away from, it looks, from the rest of the league, even now, so early.
5 in 5 so far, and for France last week, he showed just how good he is.
I saw him the week against Manchester City. Excellent. He's
what I like about him, he plays all over the front line as well. It doesn't matter whether he plays in wide left, plays him down the middle, wide right, he gets on and he does the same job, and he does it with a good attitude towards it as well. He's a good player.
Mick, when Mark says there about last year, everyone seemed to have their month and that covered for others. Simon from Ealing says Wenger is quite right to deny Vieira a break. He's paid a fortune to do something we'd all love to do for nothing. From a manager's point of view, what's been your view about all the debate about him having a rest?
That's always the quote, that people would do it for nothing, of course, to play for their clubs. But I wonder what he actually said, Patrick Vieira. You know, he might have gone to the interview and said he's tired. And he's justified, as Arsene Wenger says, he wants his players to be tired. Was he whinging about it? That's a difference. Was he looking for a rest? I'm not sure. As I said, I watched the game against Manchester City, and he was brilliant. All over the park. In his manner, and his demeanour, and his performances, he doesn't whinge. If he's just making a statement of fact that he actually feels tired, the World Cup's affected him, and it does affect the players, and how many games he plays and the way he plays, what's wrong with that? Providing when he plays to his optimum, and he does. He's top class.
And Pires coming back, and Lundberg coming back. He looks healthy, he looks enthusiastic, can't wait.
It's a worry for everybody else, isn't it? You know, Manchester United have been stuttering in midweek. Liverpool have been throwing away 2-goal leads, and at the moment Arsenal just keep rolling on and on and on. But I think the great thing for me is that the quality of the football has been absolutely outstanding.
7, 8, 9, 10, coming ready or not. Nicolas Anelka, loved and loathed at Highbury, was invited back to come out and play on Tuesday, and he lost a smashing game. Sylvain Wiltord has been the player of this Premiership season's first month. He doesn't want a fuss made about it. But Anelka, to his credit, rather than hiding, set about seeking and immediately found City's equaliser. A header at the clock end, and the sort of smile to which Arsenal would have taken themselves once upon a time. Still, Arsenal's collective smile these days is unrelenting. Thierry Henry, top of the league, showbiz, and pop stars giving birth to a new generation of fans. Presumably, Ali Benabia's lyric was less acceptable than Charlene Spiteri's. A word out of place to the linesman. Benabia off, City beaten.